right, so Daniel's going to read, and as he reads, I'll assemble the circuit.
Perfect. All right, it says how to place a circuit with a heated humidifier on the ventilator. Plug the humidifier into the electrical outlet.
Okay, we did that.
Add the Fisher and Paykel water chamber to the humidifier by sliding it into place. Remove caps from the top.
All right, so when you open, when you open this out of the package, it has these fancy blue caps in there just to hold the float in place, and it's garbage. You just take it out and throw it in the garbage.
Oh, okay. Simple. Then it says
And then it says to slide it onto the,
connect the tubing to a bag of H2O labeled as sterile H2O for inhalation.
all right, so I'll slide it onto the humidifier, and then the bag of water.
And this is, you said sterile water?
Yes. Sterile water for inhalation. So I just pierce the bag until the little sharp object goes through into the bag. Okay. Turn it upside up. And then it'll start filling the chamber. So go ahead and read. Oh, perfect.
It says, connect the tubing to a bag of H2O labeled as sterile. When you look inside the water chamber, you will see a blue float and a white float. The blue float controls the H2O level, and the white float is a backup float in case the blue float malfunctions.
All right, so let's stop and take a look inside. So there's two floats in there to stop the water. Once the water reaches a certain level, it just covers the bottom, it'll push the blue float up, and that'll stop the water from dripping in. But if it ever breaks, then there's a white float in there as a backup.
Nice. It says, as water fills the chamber, it will stop filling when the bottom of the chamber is covered with water. What causes the water to stop filling?
You guys have to answer that.
The flow.
The blue flow?
Yes.
The blue flow.
Then it asks,
That
what
stops
is
the
the-
water from filling up too much.
then it asks, what is the purpose of the black line in the water chamber?
That's the fill line.
The fill line, yeah.
Yeah, so if you see the water level go above the fill line, then this is damaged. And take it off, throw it out, and put another one in there. Because if it goes above the fill line, it'll keep filling, and it can get inside the ventilator and cause a lot of damage to the ventilator.
Those are expensive.
So you should never see water above this black line.
Okay.
Okay. But it shouldn't be lower than that line either?
Lower is okay.
Lower is okay.
Just not above.
Yes.
So it says, use the ventilator arm to support the tubing. While you're connecting all of the tubing, this will prevent the tubing from hitting the floor and becoming contaminated.
Yeah, so the circuit is long, and if it hits the floor, it becomes contaminated. If that happens, if you're putting a neonatal circuit together and it touches the floor, you take the circuit, put it in the garbage.
Okay.
For adults, it's okay to disinfect with a high-level disinfectant, and wipe it off, and then let it dry and use the circuit. But better to never let it hit the floor. Do whatever you can to keep it from hitting the floor. So I've got the circuit on the arm.
It says, connect the inspiratory limb of the heated wire circuit to the humidifier.
All right, so the inspiratory limb we've already identified because we know where the temperature sensor is. And it wants me to put it on the humidifier.
Correct. Then it says, connect the expiratory limb of the circuit to the exhalation port on the ventilator.
All right, for this ventilator, it's labeled EXP for exhalation port and INSP for inspiratory port. So I'll connect to the expiratory port. Oh, it doesn't have a filter on it. And it didn't tell us to put a filter on it?
It sure didn't.
Oh, those are different filters.
Oh, I've seen that actually. Does that also go on the inspiratory?
Yes.
So it says, use 12 to 18 inches of large bore tubing and connect the inspiratory port on the ventilator to the humidifier.
Okay, so we've got our 18 inches of tubing. We'll go from the inspiratory port on the ventilator in the arm to the humidifier.
Right.
Ah.
Then it asks, explain how air flows through the circuit beginning with the ventilator and inspiratory port.
Okay, so gas will come out of the ventilator, It'll travel through the tubing and go to the humidifier. It'll pick up the heat and moisture, then it'll travel to the patient. When the patient exhales, it'll come out the expiratory tubing and go inside the ventilator.
So gas travels through the ventilator to the humidifier.
Humidifier.
And
Passes
then passes what?
Keep going. So to the humidifier, and then what?
And then out.
No.
Then to the
Well,
patient.
Or give it to them.
And then exhalation.
Passes over to patient. And back
And
to
then
exhalation.
on this, we could have all the same setups as we had over there with the ETCO2 and the HME and all that stuff. Or
Exhalation.
would the
Everything-
HME not be necessary because of the
Correct.
humidifier?
Very good. It's actually dangerous. If you have the heated humidifier and an HME,
Contamination.
the HME fills up with water and makes it very hard for the patient to breathe through
Oh,
it.
no.
Yeah, so that's a danger. Okay.
Oh, sorry, exhalation. So it says, you are now ready to connect the temperature probes and sensors and the heater wires. They are coded by size and color to prevent the wrong connection from occurring. First, connect the blue and yellow connectors to the side of the humidifier.
All right, so I have the yellow connector, and I'm going to connect it to where the yellow ring is. But inside of this cable are some thin wires that stick straight out. So I can't do any twisting when I connect it, otherwise it busts those wires, and it's $250 to replace this. So we want to go straight in. So you look for this little yellow arrow. If you look really close, you can see an arrow. And you have to line it up to this arrow, and then push straight in.
Okay.
You just let it hang here for a second. And then the inspiratory cable, it's a little bit easier to see the arrows because they're bright white, and then I can line it up with those arrows. And I just push straight in.
That's expiratory.
That's for, what are those cables for?
Temperature sensor.
Oh, temperature.
Yeah, so this will sense the temperature of the gas.
Then you connect that to the temperature sensor?
Yes.
Temperature sensor port.
Mm.
Interesting.
Everything's coming full
And
circle.
why is this important to know the temperature? Because we're using the humidifier that heats the
Because it
water?
has to stay over.
Yeah, good
36.
question. So the humidifier has to know how hot to make the water vapor. And if it senses a cool temperature, then it'll turn on that heating element and warm up the water some more.
Gotcha. So it can reach all the way over here?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
What about the end?
Because the temperature in the,
I'm waiting to see if he's going to give me directions or...
So it says the bottom connection blue is the temperature cable. You will notice that this cable has two sensors. Plug the sensors into the proper ports. One sensor is plugged into the circuit where the circuit attaches to the water chamber.
Okay. For the circuit to attach to the water chamber, is that a good spot for you to see it?
yep.
Okay. And then the sensor that goes in there, it has a shape to it, and you kind of match up the shapes like you're putting a puzzle together. There you- All right, so it has a triangle, and I'll match it up with this triangle when I put it in. Okay. What else does it say?
And then it says, it sends information back to the humidifier about the temperature and flow at the point in the circuit. And that's where it ends.
So that's detecting the temperature at 2 points then?
Yes.
Yeah, so at the beginning and then at the
And
end.
at the end.
So like at the patient
Yeah, right off for the humidifier, and then at the patient end. And for the patient end, it likes to warm it up to about 39 degrees Celsius here, because it cools a little bit as it goes through the Y and through the endotube, it gets inside the lungs. Once it gets inside the lungs, it will be about 37 degrees, so it'll be body temperature.
So technically it's going to be a little warmer at the humidifier. That's what you're looking for?
Yes.
This is a travel through all that stuff. It says the longest end connects into the port at the patient Y. Make sure it is the inspiratory side. The sensor senses the temperature of the inspiratory gas right before it enters the lungs. If the temperature reads below 39 degrees centigrade, the heater wires will turn off. If the temperature is above 39 degrees centigrade, the heater wires will turn off.
Yeah, do you see wires inside the tubing?
Yeah.
And those wires will keep the gas warm as the gas flows past it.
It says the top connection, yellow, is the attachment for the heater cable. You'll notice the cable has two plugs. Attach one plug into the inspiratory side, the other plug connects to the expiratory side at the end of the tubing. These wires heat up the circuit. The purpose is to prevent cooling of the gas.
All right, so to heat the wires, this cable will heat the wires that are inside the circuit. And they're also shaped so they can only go into one spot. One of them goes here.
That's not a one.
And I push straight in. The other one goes on the expiratory side. Yes. Perfect. So now this cable will heat the wires on the expiratory side. And then this other cable will heat the wires on the
The
inspiratory
wires that
side.
are inside is what's
What
heated.
it heats up,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So why does there need to be a wire for the expiratory side?
The exhale gas also cools and you get condensation. Because it comes out at body temperature, and then if the room is cold, it cools off. And then when the gas cools, all the water will rain out.
Right, and then causes there to be some type of liquid inside there?
Yes.
Okay, understood. Some hospitals use ventilator circuits that are not heated. In this case, the gas will cool as it travels to the patient. What will you need to place in the circuit to collect the rain out water that collects?
And the answer to that is a water trap meant for ventilator
Oh, with the
circuits.
little, the bag, yeah.
But instead of it being a bag, it's a cup that's rigid.
Okay, a rigid cup.
Yeah.
It says turn on the humidifier. On the front panel of the humidifier, select the invasive mode. The invasive mode is used with patients that have bypassed upper airway with either an endotracheal tube or a tracheostomy tube.
All right, so to turn it on, and power it on, on the top right, you see a picture. One of them shows a picture of an endotube, and the other one shows a picture of a mask. So we want to set this up like we're ventilating a patient with an endotube. So we want it to show in the invasive setting, and it already does.
Right.
But let me just show you how to change it in case you have to change it to non-invasive. You just press it and hold it until it beeps, and then it'll go to the next one. Susie, do you want to try putting it back on invasive? There it
Oh, there's
goes.
only two modes?
Yes.
Invasive and non-invasive?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It has a little face. It has a little face, and like two little faces. So you hold it, put it on one, and then the other one.
Okay. And it says locate the alarm silence.
Okay, you're looking for a bell with a line through it?
Oh, here it is.
Yes.
So I gotta push it.
Press and hold.
I'm showing. Is that the right way or no? It's showing. It has a little orange button.
Yeah, I think it's telling you that the temperature hasn't been reached yet, because it's still warming up. Plus, we don't have any flow going through the circuit.
It says locate the digital readout where the water temperature is displayed.
And right now, you see the water temperature is 23 degrees.
What is it that it needs to be at? 30,
42.
37?
37.
So 39, it'll say 39, and it'll be 37 in the patient.
It would say 39 here, and then it gets to 37 to the patient.
No.
Which
I'm-
which
It gets 39
temperature?
to the patient and then comes out 37.
Oh, okay.
Because it's body temperature. And then it
Pretty sure
gets,
it says
I
37.
thought 37 was body temperature.
that's what it is.
Which temperature is that telling us? Is it telling us the temperature of the fluid, or is it like telling us the temperature at the patient end, or?
It's telling us the patient end right now?
Oh, okay.
And you want to know what the temperature is inside the chamber?
Well, no, I just wanted to know what the readout is telling us, which which temperature
Oh, I
it's
see.
telling us?
At the patient.
It's telling you at the patient? Okay, so you would want it to be at 39, that temperature on there?
Right, so
Okay.
I'm wondering does it say 37 because it's telling us what it will be inside the patient? Or will it say 39? Usually I see 37 on these.
On there?
Yeah,
Okay, but the temperature is 39 when it gets to the patient? Okay.
it's 39 when it gets to the sensor,
Right.
and probably 37 by the time it gets through into the endotube.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it says, place a Ballard closed system inline suction catheter into the circuit.
Continue reading. Now that the mask is on, adjust the straps, experience what it feels like to have a BiPAP mask on your face.
Okay,
And then it says, place a nebulizer with a T adapter in line with the circuit.
a nebulizer with the T adapter?
Yes.
So I've got my T adapter,
It goes in
and the
line
nebulizer,
with the circuit.
and I'll put it on the inspiratory side.
So will having that on affect the temperature arriving at the patient?
It does a little bit, so the nebulizer is programmed to wait a little while to see if it warms up. So even though your medication will be carried with the flow of gas that comes through, it's going to carry it away from this,
Right,
but sometimes it still cools a little bit.
okay.
But the humidifier knows that we're going to be doing things like that.
Okay.
I think it's programmed to not
adjust.
alarm right away.
Okay.
Okay. It says, answer the following questions. Is it okay to drain condensate back into the chamber if some water collects in the inspiratory side of the tubing? No.
Well, actually, the answer is yes.
Oh.
Do you remember what I was telling you about water vapor? So water vapor comes out of here and it can't carry bacteria to the patient.
Right.
So like the way the tubing is right now, you'll get some condensate after a few hours in here. And if you lift this up and let it drain back into
Oh,
the
back into-
humidifier.
Oh, you can.
There,
Oh,
yes.
I thought it was a ventilator. I was like, we're gonna drain it into that and from the machine. I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, so to drain this water back into the chamber, it's okay, it's safe. It's not going to contaminate the patient.
But the rain out you throw away?
That is the rain.
This is,
That is the rain
yeah,
out?
any of the condensation?
The cup? The,
Oh, from the cup.
I think you mean if it's coming from like over
Throw that
here.
away.
you-
Okay.
Because that's the exhalation, right?
There
rain out is
there
gonna be in
could
the
be a water trap added on the inspiratory side and on the expiratory
Oh, okay,
side.
so both.
But you just unscrew them and dump them in the
Right.
garbage.
Okay. It says, if an alarm is heard, what should you do? It says check your connections, check if there's,
Enough water. Check if the temperature is in range.
Correct.
it says you have completed this assignment, take apart the circuit and all the devices, place each item neatly on the lab countertop.
All right, so I can take it apart and then each one of you can put it together, or if you guys